Welcome to the Stronger with Age podcast. Because aging is just the beginning.
You got it.
We are diving deep today into something
Yeah.
really fundamental
Yeah.
for feeling great as we get older.
Yeah.
And that's hydration.
Hydration.
You sent over a fantastic collection of articles.
I did.
Our mission today
Yes.
is to pull out the most important,
Yeah.
actionable insights
Uh-huh.
that you can use right away.
Love it.
So what jumped out at me right away from these sources
Right.
is this idea
Okay.
that our body's natural cues for thirst can become less reliable
Interesting.
as we age.
Okay.
It's almost like the internal warning system
Yeah.
is not as sharp.
That makes sense.
So this deep dive is all about giving you the knowledge to proactively manage your hydration,
Yeah.
so you don't have to just rely on that thirst signal.
Right.
So let's get right into it. Why is staying hydrated especially crucial as we age?
Well, there are a number of things that change as we get older that really make this an important subject.
Okay.
Our body's sensation of thirst diminishes, as the neighbors of Dunn County and Cleveland Clinic point out.
Interesting.
So you might not feel thirsty even when your body needs fluids.
Wow.
And seniors at home also emphasize this, noting that this internal drive to drink just isn't as strong. What's interesting here is
Right.
this can be linked to age-related changes in the hypothalamus,
Okay.
the part of the brain that actually regulates thirst.
So the body needs something vital,
Yeah.
but isn't even sending a clear message.
Right.
Okay, so the neighbors of Dunn County also touched on changes in water metabolism.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on what that involves?
Yeah, well, younger adults
Yeah.
have a very efficient system for regulating water balance.
Yeah.
As we age, it becomes less efficient.
Interesting.
And that can lead to, less dynamic turnover of water in the body.
Right.
It's almost like the body isn't as quick to adjust to changes in fluid levels.
And it seems like we're starting at a disadvantage, too.
Right.
Multiple sources, including the Cleveland Clinic and the NCOA,
Yeah.
mentioned
Yeah.
that our overall body water content naturally decreases
Ah.
as we age. So we're carrying less water weight overall.
Yeah, think about it this way. A higher percentage
Yep.
of a younger person's body weight is water
Okay.
compared to an older adult.
Makes sense.
And so any fluid loss
Okay.
can have a more significant impact.
Right.
And then when you combine that with reduced kidney function
Right.
that the Cleveland Clinic, Senior at Home, and the neighbors of Dunn County highlight,
Right.
the kidneys are less efficient at conserving water.
Yeah.
So it really creates a situation where you're losing fluids more easily.
Right.
And the filtering units in the kidneys, called nephrons,
Interesting.
they can become less effective over time.
So a combination of factors
Yes.
make staying hydrated a bigger challenge
Right.
as we get older.
That's right.
And then Elite Care Health Centers, Seniors at Home, and the NCOA
Yeah.
all highlighted the role of medications.
Exactly.
So this seems like a critical point for many older adults.
Well, and it's interesting, a
Right.
lot of medications that are commonly prescribed for older adults,
Yeah.
like diuretics, for blood pressure, laxatives,
Right.
those are designed to increase fluid excretion
Oh, wow.
from the body.
Okay.
So that directly elevates the risk of dehydration,
Okay.
unless you're really making a conscious effort to increase your fluid intake.
So being aware of these physiological shifts
Uh-huh.
and the potential effects of medication
Yeah.
is paramount
It is.
to proactively manage our hydration.
Right.
Okay, so we have a good understanding now of why hydration is so important as
Yeah.
we age.
Yep.
Now let's focus on the payoffs, the tangible benefits
Right.
of staying well hydrated.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing how many areas of our health
Uh-huh.
are connected to this.
Yeah.
So let's start with brain function.
Well, this is a really significant benefit that's
Okay.
emphasized by the neighbors of Dunn County, Healthline, WellBe Health,
Yep.
and the NCOA.
Yeah.
Adequate hydration is absolutely crucial for optimal brain function at any age,
Right.
but especially as we get older,
Right.
when those cognitive processes can sometimes slow down.
Yeah.
Staying hydrated supports everything from memory to mood
Right.
to concentration and even reaction time.
Wow. Okay.
What's fascinating is that even mild dehydration, as Healthline and the NCOA point out, just a 1 to 3% loss of fluid
Wow.
has been shown to impair cognitive performance.
just a small dip in fluid levels
Right.
can have that kind of impact on our thinking.
Right.
That's powerful.
It is.
What about energy levels?
Yes.
Feeling fatigued
Right.
seems to be a common experience as we age.
Well, and dehydration is a major contributor to that.
Okay.
Healthline, WellBe Health, and the NCOA point this out. When you're not properly hydrated, your blood volume can decrease. This can lead to slower circulation,
Right.
less oxygen, fewer nutrients delivered to your organs and tissues, and
Yeah.
you just feel tired.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
So it's all interconnected.
it is.
And for those of us who want to stay active and maintain our physical abilities,
Right.
how does hydration play a role there?
Well, staying well hydrated is essential for maintaining good physical performance.
Okay.
As noted by Healthline and some of the other sources you shared.
Right.
It directly supports muscle function and endurance
Yeah.
and can reduce fatigue,
Okay.
lower the risk of muscle cramps and injuries
Right.
during physical activity.
Okay.
So, our muscles are largely composed of water,
Yeah.
and they need that fluid to contract efficiently and recover properly.
So let's move on to something that might not be the most glamorous topic,
Right?
but it's certainly important for overall well-being,
It is.
and that's digestion.
Digestion, yeah.
So proper hydration
Right.
is vital for healthy digestion.
Absolutely.
And that's emphasized by the neighbors of Dunn County, Healthline, WellBe Health,
Yep.
and the NCOA.
Yep.
Water helps to break down the food we eat,
Yes.
making it easier for our bodies to absorb nutrients
Uh-huh.
and move waste through the digestive tract.
Right.
And this is key in preventing constipation, which can be
Yes.
a common issue
Definitely.
for older adults.
Right.
Interestingly, Healthline mentioned that mineral water
Okay.
containing magnesium and sodium
Uh-huh.
might be particularly beneficial
Right.
for those experiencing constipation.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
So I also noticed that maintaining adequate fluid intake
Yeah.
is important for our urinary health.
It is.
So-
Staying hydrated helps to dilute urine.
Right.
And as the neighbors of Dunn County Well Health and the NCOA explain,
Uh-huh.
that can prevent the buildup of bacteria
Oh.
and reduce the risk of UTIs, even for individuals who might be managing incontinence.
Okay.
And furthermore,
Yeah.
this dilution effect
Right.
also helps to prevent the formation of kidney stones,
Okay.
a point underscored by Healthline, Elite Care Health Centers,
Right.
and the NCOA.
So something I don't always consciously connect to hydration
Right.
is our joint health.
Joint health, yeah.
Water acts as a natural lubricant
Right.
for our joints,
Absolutely.
helping to reduce friction and pain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so important for maintaining mobility and flexibility
Yeah.
as we age.
As we age, yep.
As mentioned by one of your sources and by the NCOA.
Mhm.
In fact, the NCOA points out
Yeah.
that cartilage, the cushioning tissue in our
Yeah,
joints, has a very high water content.
It does.
So staying hydrated is crucial for keeping that tissue
Yes.
healthy and functioning properly.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is highlighting how far-reaching the
Yeah.
benefits of hydration are.
Yeah.
What about our ability to regulate body temperature?
Right.
I know older adults can be more vulnerable to heat-related illnesses.
You're absolutely right. WellBe Health and the NCOA both emphasize that proper hydration is essential for our bodies to sweat effectively,
Right.
which is the primary mechanism for cooling down
Okay.
and preventing overheating and kid stroke.
Right.
But when we're dehydrated, this cooling process can be impaired,
Right.
making us much more susceptible to heat-related problems,
Right.
especially during warmer weather or physical exertion.
And then there's a vital aspect of heart health.
Yes.
And that's a serious concern for many as they age.
It is. It is. As the NCOA points out, blood is primarily composed of water.
Right.
And when we are dehydrated, the blood can become more concentrated,
Uh-huh.
and that can affect electrolyte balance
Okay.
and put a strain on the heart.
Oh.
Maintaining proper hydration helps to ensure healthy blood flow
Yeah.
and can even reduce the risk of serious cardiovascular events. Right.
Seniors at Home specifically mentions a reduced risk of fatal coronary heart disease
Wow.
with adequate water intake.
That's a compelling statistic.
It is.
What about the body's natural detoxification processes?
Okay.
Does hydration play a role there?
It does. The NCOA mentions that water is crucial for supporting the body's natural ability to flush out waste products and toxins
Right.
through urination and other elimination processes.
And who hasn't experienced a headache?
Yeah.
Can staying properly hydrated help with those,
Right.
nagging pains?
Absolutely. Healthline, Seniors at Home, and the NCOA all note
Okay.
that even mild dehydration can be a trigger for headaches and migraines.
Interesting.
And so maintaining consistent hydration may help reduce the frequency and severity of
Right.
those headaches.
Okay, and finally, something many of us are interested in.
Right.
Skin health.
Skin health, yeah.
Yeah.
While it's not the primary reason for focusing on hydration.
WellBe Health does mention
Right.
that adequate water intake can contribute to keeping skin feeling soft
Okay.
and may even help to reduce the appearance of dryness and wrinkles.
Okay.
So it's an added bonus for staying well hydrated.
Okay, that's an impressive list of benefits.
It is.
It really underscores how fundamental hydration is
Yeah.
to our overall health and well-being as we age.
Uh-huh.
So now let's shift our focus to something really practical.
Okay.
How can we recognize when an older adult might be dehydrated?
Yeah, good question.
What are some key signs to look out for?
Well, Seniors at Home and Elite Care Health Centers
Yeah.
provide a helpful breakdown of
Yeah.
both milder and more serious symptoms.
Okay.
Some of the milder indicators include passing small amounts of urine
Right.
that is darker than usual,
Yeah.
experiencing headaches or muscle cramps,
Uh-huh.
increased sleepiness, irritability,
Yeah.
dry mouth accompanied by thick saliva. These can sometimes be very subtle and easily overlooked.
And those sound like things that could be attributed to
yeah.
other age-related issues.
Yeah.
What are some of the more serious signs
Yeah.
that would really warrant immediate attention?
Well, more severe dehydration can manifest in more alarming ways,
Okay.
like low blood pressure, convulsions,
Wow.
dry and sunken eyes with few or no tears,
Okay.
significant muscle cramping,
Yeah.
a noticeably bloated stomach, rapid but weak pulse skin that has lost elasticity and appears wrinkled,
Right.
faster breathing, extreme fatigue,
Okay.
fainting spells,
Okay.
and even disorientation or difficulty walking.
Got it.
And the Cleveland Clinic also specifically points out
Yeah.
that confusion and anxiety can be indicators of dehydration.
Wow.
So it's really critical to be aware of those
Okay.
and to seek medical help
Right.
without delay if they appear.
Early detection and intervention can
Yeah.
make a big difference.
Absolutely.
So now for the really practical takeaways.
Yeah.
What are some actionable strategies
Okay.
that we can implement to ensure we're staying adequately hydrated as we age?
Well, the sources offer lots of good practical advice here.
Okay.
One of the most fundamental things is to make a conscious effort to drink fluids regularly throughout the day,
Nice.
as WellBe Health and the NCOA emphasize.
Okay.
Don't wait until you feel that sensation of thirst,
Yeah.
because that signal may not be as reliable as it used to be.
Okay, good point.
Carrying a reusable water bottle with you,
Yeah.
as suggested by WellBe Health and the NCOA,
Yeah.
can serve as a great reminder.
Good idea, yeah. I know setting reminders on my phone
Yeah.
has been helpful for other habits
Yeah,
I'm trying to build.
Yeah.
Is that a good strategy for staying hydrated as well?
Absolutely. Elite Care Health Centers, WellBe Health, and Seniors at Home
Yeah.
all recommend using those phone alarms or timers to prompt you to drink regularly, especially if you find yourself getting busy and forgetting.
Good point.
It can also be effective to make it a routine to drink something with each meal and any snacks,
All right.
as the NCOA suggests.
Okay, what about keeping track visually? I remember seeing something about the color of urine being an indicator.
Well, monitoring your urine color
Yeah.
is a simple yet very informative way to gauge your hydration status.
Okay.
WellBe Health mentions
Yeah.
that you should aim for your urine to be a pale yellow to almost clear color.
Got it.
If it's consistently dark yellow,
Okay.
that's a pretty clear sign that
Okay.
you need to increase your fluid intake.
So it's good to know that we don't have to rely solely on beverages.
Right.
Food can contribute as well.
Right, absolutely. WellBe Health, Seniors at Home,
Yeah.
and Cleveland Clinic
Okay.
all highlight the importance of incorporating hydrating foods into your diet.
Right.
Think fruits and vegetables with high water content,
Yeah.
like watermelon, cucumbers, celery, strawberries, oranges.
Right.
Seniors at Home also reminds us that soups, broths, yogurt,
Yeah.
even gelatin-based desserts like Jell-O
Okay.
can contribute to your overall fluid intake.
And when it comes to actual drinks,
Yeah.
What are some of the best choices we can make?
Well, water should always be your primary choice.
Okay.
But WellBe Health also suggests herbal teas and diluted fruit juices.
Okay.
Elite Care Health Centers and Cleveland Clinic mention that infusing your water with fruits like berries or citrus can make it more appealing, especially if you find plain water a bit boring.
Okay.
And then in situations where you might be concerned about electrolyte loss, like during prolonged exercise or hot weather, Elite Care Health Centers and Healthline suggest considering electrolyte-infused waters.
Good idea.
Milk and milk alternatives like almond, coconut, or oat milk can also be hydrating and provide additional nutrients. Green tea, consumed in moderation due to its caffeine content, can also contribute to hydration and offers antioxidants. Smoothies made with fruits and vegetables are another excellent and nutritious way to increase your fluid intake. And while freshly squeezed juices can be beneficial, it's wise to be mindful of the sugar content in store-bought versions. Coconut water is a natural source of electrolytes. And then Pedialyte is a medical-grade hydration solution, specifically formulated to replenish electrolytes.
It sounds like there are plenty of options to keep things interesting and meet our fluid needs.
You got it. What about the types of beverages we should try to limit?
Well, WellBe Health, Elite Care Health Centers, and Cleveland Clinic all advise limiting your intake of soda and other sugary drinks,
as well as caffeinated beverages like coffee and strong tea. These can have a diuretic effect, meaning they can promote fluid loss.
Got it.
So while that morning coffee might be part of your routine, it's important to balance it with adequate water intake.
That's a good reminder about the potential diuretic effects. Are there any other important considerations we should keep in mind regarding hydration?
Well, if you're taking any medications, it's always wise to discuss your fluid needs with your healthcare provider. If drinking large amounts of fluid at once feels uncomfortable, try spreading your intake throughout the day by taking small, frequent sips.
Good tip.
And crucially, individual fluid requirements can vary based on your overall health, your level of physical activity, and even the climate you live in.
Makes sense.
So consulting with a healthcare professional can provide personalized recommendations. Elite Care Health Centers mention general guidelines of around 15.5 cups per day for men and 11.5 cups for women from all sources. The NCOA offers another rule of thumb, which is drinking about 1/3 of your body weight in ounces of fluids. And finally, it's essential to increase your fluid intake during hot weather and when you are engaging in physical activity.
So our individual needs can really vary.
They can.
So finally, in what situations should someone seek medical help if they suspect dehydration?
Well, the NCOA advises that for severe symptoms of dehydration, like significant dizziness, rapid heartbeat, or breathing, very dark urine, or noticeable decrease in urination, it's important to seek immediate medical attention. And Elite Care Health Centers notes that hospitalization might be necessary in more severe cases to rehydrate effectively.
Good to know. So as you can see, staying hydrated isn't just about passively drinking water. It's a proactive and essential step
it is
you can take to significantly support your brain function, physical health, and overall well-being as you age.
That's right.
The key takeaway here is to become more aware of your fluid intake throughout the day, even if you don't always feel intensely thirsty. So implementing small, consistent habits can make a big difference in how you feel.
That's the key.
It is. What's really fascinating is how these internal physiological signals shift as we age, and how it becomes increasingly important to develop new mindful strategies and routines to maintain our health and vitality.
That's right.
This deep dive has hopefully provided you with some really practical tips.
Absolutely.
And a much deeper understanding of why staying properly hydrated is so vital as we continue to live stronger with age.
And this leads to a really important question for you to consider. With all these benefits and potential risks in mind, what is one small, actionable step you can take today to be more intentional about your hydration?
Okay, there you have it.
You got it.
Hope you enjoyed this deep dive.
Me too.
Stay tuned for upcoming episodes.
Bye.